Hey, Shalom, Akim, Shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. New in the gospel, broad left of the standard of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is just a lesson through the spirit going into Malthusianism, which is the idea that population growth is potentially on the rise. Hence the population methods, hence the juices, the particular chemtrails, the foods, the frankenfoods, the philosophies, the type of social engineering that has been infiltrated into society is all due to Malthusianism. Okay, here I typed in Depop agenda. And of course, they're fact checkers, which they're juiced in. They go and they tell you that, the thing of Bill Gates of hell, he mentioned the whole Depop method, right? Now, when you go to fact checkers, in fact, they say that's a false statement. But the dude said it from his own mouth. Okay, he said it from his own mouth. I mean, you can watch the interview when he broke down the formula of this people plus this and that, and we have to eliminate that particular number, which was the people. Hence, you have these world-born pathogens, I say it that way, that's been on the brink of totally wiping out every human being, according to their theory. Now, we do know the scriptures go into plagues and famines and pestilence and war, which war is part of the Malthusian theory, because in war, you clean up who? Undesirables. Okay, the useless eaters. The bankers, the elites, the Rothschilds mainly specified the best time to invest is when blood is high in the streets, which is a time of war. It's the best time to invest because all wars are bankers' wars, and there's no winning side of war but the elites. Okay, World War II, America was at its top preeminence. You better believe that the Rothschilds, J.P. Morgan Chase, the Rockefellers, the Bushes, they all ate good off that war. They all it was very lucrative. I put it that way. So I put in this. It says Agenda 2030 to 2050, economic collapse, hyperinflation, and food shortages, which all equates to mass death. Okay. Just a couple of things. It says killing us softly, the global Depop policy. Okay. It says, for those of you who don't know, Klaus Schwab or Cotton Schwab is chairman of the World Economic Forum, which he's just a puppet, and wrote the book C19, The Great Reset. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is 100% real. Do your research, because that term conspiracy theory was thrown out there by the CIA when he assassinated Kennedy. Okay, the CIA came up with the whole term of conspiracy theory because that's what you call a deflective tactic to take away the problem from the particular problem. Okay, you're pointing a finger at the problem. Esau has these particular groups like the ADL and these particular talking heads that's set up to deflect. These guys are professionals in dark psychology when they're taught to deflect the narrative or project the image onto another person that they're the problem, when in fact the problem is these people. You see? So that word conspiracy, which means con means with, spiracy is the spirit, means with the spirit. But the actual definition of breaking down the word conspiracy means two or more are gathered together to do something sinister. Okay, or something that's sinister, or something that's bad. Two or more people conspiring to come up with plans for global domination. Okay, it ain't saying, oh, well, we speculate that they have this particular thing that's going to come out that's going to do this to people. It's not a fucking, that's not what that means. All right, so it says Malthusianism. We're going to read a little bit of it, man. It's a pretty long article. They go into the fact that wars, industrial revolution, which we're in the fourth industrial revolution now, which is a technocracy. It says Malthusianism is the idea that the population growth, okay, is potentially exponentially or exponential, while the growth of the food supply or other resources is linear. It says, which eventually reduces living standards to the point of triggering a population die-off. It says this event is called a Malthusian catastrophe, also known as the Malthusian trap. It says population trap. Malthusian check or Malthusian crisis or Malthusian specter or Malthusian crunch. It says occurs when population growth, which this world is nowhere near overpopulated, that's a lie. It says outpaces agricultural production, causing famine of war, resulting in poverty and depopulation. Hence World War One, World War II, you had twice as many casualties. Over 40 million people died in that war. World War III, you can quadruple that. You're gonna have hundreds of millions of people that's gonna die in that war. Okay, because the elites, they believe that they're gonna come out supreme, but that's not gonna be the case. But they mentioned famine or war. They're talking about food shortages, agriculture differences, climate change. All these things are particular talking points and boogeymans that stir the people into frenzy to adhere to certain agendas that's being pushed by the elite, if you may understand. Says such as a catastrophe inevitably has the effect of forcing the population to correct back to a lower, more easily sustainable level quite rapidly due to the potential severity of unpredicted results. Here you have what they call black swan events, unpredictable results of mitigating factors involved as compared to relatively slow timescales and well understood processes governing unchecked growth or growth affected by preventive checks. It says Malthusianism has been linked to a variety of political and social movements, but almost referred to advocates of the population control, hence the elites. Now, the reason why the elites wanted to populate everybody is because they're afraid of people overthrowing them. So the more people they kill off, they can enslave the masses of the people under some type of control through the sea hip. But the majority of the people, they gotta go because they know eventually when these secrets are exposed, people will come gunning from them. That's in the scriptures. Okay, the scriptures say that their tongue should cleave upon themselves, man, and they should flee from them. Okay, and it says in the hands of the wicked should be upon them, which that word wicked goes into laborers. But it says these concepts derive from political and economic through the Reverend Thomas Robert Malthus, is laid out in his 1798 writings. And remember, this is to the time that this corporation was established, going back to 1775. By the man of Adam Weishaupt, which was a refounder of the Illuminati at that time. Okay, they give you this whole moniker of 1776 being the establishment of this nation, but that's really going into the elites capsulating that new world order. Okay, that's why a lot of these particular writings, like from Aleister Crowley to Eliphaz Levi, a lot of these men, they have writings that was familiar around this time because it was all part of an agenda for a latter time. But it says an essay on the principle of repopulation. Okay, and you better believe in the 1790s, the world was nowhere near being overpopulated, which shows you that they understood prophecy to some degree. But it says Malthus suggested that while technological advances could increase a society's supply of resources, such as food, and thereby improve the standard of living, the resources abundance will enable population growth, which will eventually bring the per capita supply of resources back to its original level. Some economists contend that since the Industrial Revolution, mankind has broken out of the trap. But others argue that the continuation of extreme poverty indicates that the Malthusian trap continues to operate. It says other further argue that due to lack of food availability, coupled with excessive population developing in countries, show more evidence of the trap. It says a similar modern concept is that of human overpopulation, which is the result of what we're seeing today in the world. These particular talking points by the WHO and these talking heads of these corporations, they're basically following this Malthusian theory, okay? Because it says preventative versus positive population controls. You have Malthusian catastrophe, then you have population, which is set to increase, and then the production of food slightly increase, which shows you that they have to do away with one of these numbers, which is here, the people. Sure, that Esau is a damn devil. Okay, you can actually read the rest of this. This is actually a good read. You can educate yourselves on this, but this is the time we're in. And this is a good read. So, I recommend you brothers, you look up Malthusianism, you can read it. I'm not going to get all into it because we understand it, but just to shed some light on that. I was actually watching this here die suddenly, and I'm not going to speak on it, but so far this is pretty good. And it gets real detailed Came out November 21st and has over 2 million views. 2,993,042 views. So that's a lot of views within 2 months. So this word is getting out here. People are understanding what the fuck is going on here. You know, and hey, call Allah Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. But this is the book of Revelation. Matter of fact, 6, and I'm going to start at verses 8. Matter of fact, let's start at 6. It says, and when he had opened the second seal, I heard a beast say, come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. That's Esau, that red horse. How is he taking peace from the earth? Through the blessing that he was blessed with Isaac. The scripture says, by the sword thou shalt live, and obtain the dew and the fatness of the earth. Roughly paraphrasing it. You see? So Esau was set to live by the sword, because notice that when Esau's conquered, he's never had a years of peace. America has never seen peaceful years as far as the conglomerate of fighting in the Middle East. Now over here, you may say, well, nothing happens here. Yeah, but look at the death and bloodshed that they're committing out of false acts of freedom to give you this bullshit-ass lifestyle. Bombing innocent villages just to promote feminism and the transhumanism agenda. That's totally wickedness, man. And Esau is going to pay for that. But it says here, they're to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And that was given to him a great sword. Okay, a great sword. Okay, because the scriptures say he should rule by the sword. It tells you that in Genesis. All right, third seal is famine. It says, and he had opened the third seal. I heard the beast say, come and see. And I beheld a black horse, and he that sat on him had balances in his hand. And I heard the voice of the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see that thou hurt not the oil and the wine, which is the elect. But this is going into famine, which famine and pestilence leads to mass death. So these manufactured concoctions that they're talking about, like I was reading somewhat of an article, read the heading of it rather, and it was basically stating that 3 years of the C-19, what's on the next, or what's on the horizon for the next such and such. So how would they know that unless they're behind it? You see what I'm saying? So they're creating these catastrophes, and people are suffering from it, because that's what Esau, he's the damn devil. Okay? And it says, and when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, come and see. And I looked and beheld a pale horse, which we know pale represents death. It says, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. It says death and hell. And the power was given to them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. Because as the Apostle Tahar broke down, death is an actual spirit. And these devils are actually harboring the spirit of Satan. These are the physical sons and daughters of spiritual demon Satan, man. Okay, they have the devil gene in them, and they're operating under the spirit of death, man. Any minute now, an Edomite can just lose it and defect and go shoot up a school. Any minute. When that devil gene becomes activated, then that's when they're going to do wickedness, and it's in every last one of them. They're liable to snap just like that. So for you Jakes out there, mainly you Keishas that think that this man is your friend, hey, one day he's going to turn his back on you, and you're going to see what we've been saying. You're going to have to come back and with a humble spirit to say, look, man, you know, we see what your man was saying. But, you know, for most of you, it's going to be too late. But nonetheless, it says, with the sword of hunger and death, and with the beasts of the earth. Now, when we was reading the Malthusian theory, it went into war, plague, and famine. Okay? It says, however, poor health and economic conditions are also considered instances of positive checks. And they went into the food shortages and restoring balance. And if you look at the Georgia Guidestones, which was knocked down, they basically went into maintaining humanity at a popular balance of over 500 million people. That's how many people they want on the planet Earth. Everybody else, they gotta die. Okay, they've been making books on this thing, the population bomb. Ecological economist Herman Daly has acknowledged the influence of Malthus on his concept of a steady state economy. You think of economy, you think of food, you think of jobs, labor, you think of stocks and bonds, you think of these things. You know, authors of Famine 1975, America's Decision, Who Will Survive? You see? So yeah, these devils are doing something sinister, man. And like I said, this is a good read. Very good read. You know, these devils, man, they gotta go. 2nd Ezra 16, I'm gonna start at verses 23 again, it says, for the dead should be cast out as dung, because literally we're going to be stepping over dead bodies. And the stench is going to be unbearable. Like you're going to smell the smell of death the minute you walk out your house, man. When martial law erupts and these particular pestilence take over people and people start dropping from the juice and the wars and the famine and the civil skirmishes, it's going to be an innumerable amount of the dead out here. You're going to see kids, you're going to see elderly, young, middle-aged. It's going to be bad out here, and nobody's going to bury these bodies because you're not going to have city services that's going to be intact to do so. You see? And it says, and there shall be no man left to comfort them, for the earth should be wasted and the city should be casted down. No man's going to comfort you when they see your mom dead in the streets or your children, splattered across a mold down. Nobody's going to comfort you for that. They don't care, because for one thing, everybody's going to be a dog-eat-dog world. It says there should be no man left to till the earth. Why? Because you're going to have an innumerable amount of dead. Okay, we're reading it. Scriptures say of a city should be 10 left, man, or appear to be. It says here, there should no man be left to till the earth and to sow it. It says, for the trees should give fruit, but who should gather them? Not the dead. It says the grapes should ripen, who should tread them? For all places should be desolate of men. Okay, hence this video here. All right, this video, once again, and you brothers can look it up if you want. I will type the link in the description, but I'm pretty sure brothers seen it. It's called Die Suddenly. And it goes to everything that we've been experiencing the last 2 years. And the 40-minute mark, it goes into the SAD syndrome, which is the sudden adult death syndrome, when people are looking like they're seeing an entity and they just flip out and they die. It gets into that. It shows you that this man has to be stopped, man. He has to be stopped. No ifs, ands, or buts. But it says, so that one man should desire to see another and to hear his voice. It says, for of a city, there should be 10 left. So think about a city like Chicago, over 5-6 million people. Metropolis-wise, 3-4 million, but the state of Illinois, over 10 million people, right? Just imagine the city of Chicago being cut down to 10,000 men out of millions. It's going to literally be scary. You're literally going to see a man every so often. 10,000 people in a big city like that, if you see anybody at all, Just on the south side of Chicago, you got over 1 million people. Just imagine if all of them die off. And this is in the vision, the prophecy. It says, if of a city should 10 be left, and 2 of a field, which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and the clefts of the rocks, man. Okay? Because it's going to be that bad out here, brothers. I'm telling you, man. And as an orchard of olives upon every tree, there are 3 or 4 olives, or as a vineyard is gathered, there are left some clusters of them that diligently seek through the vineyard. Even so in those days, there should be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword. And the earth should be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall go full of thorns, because no man should travel therethrough. And I read this last lesson, but it's relevant for this lesson too. But the virgins should mourn having no bridegrooms, and the women should mourn having no husbands, and their daughters should mourn having no helpers. And in the war should the bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands should perish with famine. Okay, because like I said, the Malthusian theory, this is it. Okay, I mean, of course, with all the fighting and stuff like that, but due to these agendas, these particular agendas being set up on high, is going to lead to this catastrophic event, because people are going to retaliate against their governments. That's why it says, hear now ye these things, and understand them, ye servants of the Lord. It didn't say servant of the Lord, it said ye servants. So this is talking to all the prophets today. Ye servants of the Lord. Behold the word of the Lord, receive it, believe it, not the gods of whom the Lord spake. But behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. As when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth a son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. So even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side, man. All right, so anyway, I'm going to end it there. There's many precepts we can go into. Psalm 64, Psalms 58, Psalms 52, Psalms 53. It all goes into the wickedness of this Edomite, man. But anyway, I'm going to end it there. All praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai. And with that, Shalom and the Baba Ball.